This is Frode and welcome to this video. Today you'll learn why copying is okay, why we should all follow just one thinker we admire, how you can discover who you really are, the benefits of using pen and paper, and why we should all forget external validation. And on this channel I deliver my favorite 5 big ideas for books that help us think differently and actualize our potential, so if you're new here you can consider subscribing. And today we have another awesome book, Steal Like an Artist. 10 things nobody told you about being creative. It's all about unlocking your creative potential. The book is written by Austin Kleon, who is a writer and an artist. He's the author of the redacted poetry collection, Newspaper Blackout, and also of the best-selling book, Show Your Work. With that, let's get started with the first big idea. And the first big idea is nothing is original. This idea is all about how all creative work builds on what came before. That nothing is completely original. I remember when I started out sharing great ideas from books in my blog posts and my videos. I felt like a complete fraud because I was just copying large excerpts from books, putting them into my blog post, then commenting a bit below them, and then shooting in quotes from the authors to support my comments. But now I know that nothing is completely original, so I don't stress about the fact anymore. And Austin uses a quote from William Ralph Inge with a fun description of what originality is. The quote is, "What is originality? Undetected plagiarism." And he has also his own quote to debunk the fact that some things are original. The quote is, "What a good artist understands is that nothing comes from nowhere. All creative work builds on what came before. Nothing is completely original." So if we can embrace the fact that originality comes from copying and plagiarizing the people we admire who has done a lot of great work, then we can stop stressing about trying to be original. The second big idea is climb your own family tree. And this idea is about choosing one thinker in your field, instead of trying to devour the history of all of your field at once, stressing yourself out. So the idea is that you choose one thinker you admire the most, learn everything you possibly can about him or her, then you choose 3 people that thinker admired and learn as much as you possibly can about them. And you repeat this process and then you have started your own family tree. Starting this family tree will also make you feel less alone because you also always have somebody watching you while you are doing your creative work. And Austin says that he has hanged up pictures of the people who he admires because it feels like they are pushing him forward through his work. And if your masters are dead or remote, living in a far-off country, don't despair. I have a fun fact from Austin here. The great thing about dead or remote masters is that they can't refuse you as an apprentice. You can learn whatever you want from them. They left their lesson plan in their work. Now, I choose Brian Johnson as my master, and I have a link for him here. And the reason is that he is the one who inspired me to start sharing these great ideas. Who do you choose? Who is the one thinker you admire the most? Choose one. Hang a picture of him or her up on your wall, and then you've started your own family tree. Then, the third big idea is make things. And it's about discovering who you really are through making things. One of the reasons that so many people are scared of creating things is that they suffer of something called the imposter syndrome. When they are doing the work, they feel like they are a phony, like they're just winging it. They don't know what they're doing. But ask any really creative person, and they'll tell you the same thing. They don't know where all of this great stuff comes from. They just show up every day and do their work. If you're trying to discover who you really are through thinking about it or just waiting, that's not a great strategy. And I have a quote from Austin to describe this. "If I'd waited to know who I was or what I was about before I started being creative, well, I'd still be sitting around trying to figure myself out instead of making things. In my experience, it's in the act of making things and doing our work that we figure out who we are." As you're one of those people who has taken his or her time to come this far in this video, I can truly recognize that you're a bounty hunter seeking hidden gold. And you have untapped potential, and the only way to tap that potential is to start making things. When you start making more and more things, you'll discover more and more of who you really are. The fourth big idea is step away from the screen. This idea is about how using more pen and paper in your work will make it more fun. And Austin says that he loves computers, but that they have robbed us of the feeling that we are actually making things. He shares a quote from a guy talking about how computers have alienated us from our work, putting a sheet of glass between us and our work. We can't actually touch the work we are doing. You see, computers are great for editing and publishing ideas, but they are not great for generating ideas. And using more pen and paper doing your work will actually make it more fun. As Austin says, it wasn't until I started to bring analog tools back into my process that making things became fun again and my work started to improve. And this has also been the case for me. When I started preparing these videos on paper, it became a lot more fun. I can really feel like I am doing work now, instead of doing everything on the computer. So what Austin recommends is that we set up 2 workstations. One with digital tools and one with analog tools. So this is how the process might look like. On the analog station, you have pen, paper and sticky notes, where you just scribble, you generate ideas, write them down, clip them out to put them together in another way, and then, when you feel ready, you go over to your digital station, your computer. You edit those ideas, write them out in the finished form, and publish them. When you start losing steam, ideas, you just go back to your analog station and generate more ideas, scribbling, taking things apart, and then putting them together in another way. And this will bring you a lot more satisfaction to your work. This has been the case for me, after starting with 2 workstations. And the 5th big idea is forget validation. This is all about letting go of external sources when we are doing our work. And when the irony of great work is that it seems effortless. People will think, why didn't I think of that? And they don't see all the years of toil and sweat that went into it. And this is just a brutal fact. People will misinterpret your work. Maybe your family won't praise you. Maybe your friends won't care at all. But you can't let external sources be the motivation for doing your creative work. As Austin says, you can't go looking for validation from external sources. Once you put your work into the world, you have no control over the way people will react to it. And Ryan Holiday, the author of Ego is the Enemy, says that we, instead of focusing on external validation, we should focus on doing our work and letting that be enough. As he says, do your work, do it well, and then let go and let God. And that's all there needs to be. Recognition and rewards, those are just extra. Rejection, that's on them, not on us. So how can you let go of praise and recognition as motivations for your work, and instead let doing the work be enough? If you like this video, you'll probably like deep work and solving the procrastination puzzle, and so good they can't ignore you. If you have comments or questions or feedback on how I can improve these videos for you, then I would be happy if you write them down in the comment section. And if you want to get new videos every single week with 5 big ideas from books that help us think differently and actualize our potential, you can click the find or subscribe button below the video. And if you want more details on the notes, you can check out the blog post that I have a link for below the video. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm looking forward to share more big ideas with you soon. Have an awesome day. See ya.